So welcome yourself into your practice by laying down onto your backs this morning. So we're just going to spend just a few beats on the back to get started. We won't be here for very long. So make yourself comfortable. Have your legs extended forward or knees bent with your feet on the floor. Of course, if Supta Baddha Konasana feels good, feel free to bring the soles of your feet together. And invite your eyes to close down. And as you begin to draw inward with your eyes closed down, notice that there's still so much that you can perceive as your attention moves inward with the eyes closed. Just take a moment. I'm not going to guide you to anything specific so that you can just begin to really tap into your own authentic experience of what you're perceiving with your eyes closed. What changed in the way that your senses engaged as the vision began to move inward. And now take a few deeper, slower breaths than perhaps the ones that preceded. Using that same quality of perceptibility to now sense the breath moving and your ability to control it with a little bit more intention, not control rigidly, but finding some intentionality in the duration of your inhale and exhale. Do this in a way that feels good. Do this in a way that feels nourishing to you. And take a few more slow, steady breaths like that. And in those breaths, see if you can draw in on the subtlety of your exhalation, as though all of the skin in your body is sighing out and relaxing with that exhale. And just take about 3 more like this, focusing now deeply on the subtlety of your exhale, recognizing, perceiving, giving attention to the way your body is physically responding to the exhale, to the way your mind might be relaxing, melting in as you breathe out. And for your practice today, you can continue a similar exploration, attention drawing inward, letting your mind relax on your exhales, noticing how your exhales relate with any particular shape that you're in. And as you draw your attention inward on the exhale, letting yourself perceive all that's happening outside, keeping attention inward. Take one more good full breath here. And then as you're ready, Draw your knees in towards your chest. Give yourself a little squeeze. So keeping the attention inward, even though external things will shift and change. Rocking side to side here, you'll notice that your attention may want to really pop out and up, get really involved with external surface things. Drawing inward on your exhales, staying close to that internal experience. Come back to center. Take your hands behind your knees, lift your heels towards the ceiling, and stretch the backs of your legs by drawing your toes towards your face. Press your heels towards the ceiling. Just continue to support the backs of your legs here. Relax across your collarbones. Let them melt out and down towards the shoulders. Take another breath. Press your heels up. Draw your toes back. Good. And then releasing here, bend your right knee. Take your left heel forward. Let it come all the way down to the floor. So as you draw your right knee in towards your chest, press your left heel forward towards the top of your yoga mat. You can feel or perceive the lengthening quality through the top of the thigh and into those left hip flexors. And then come back to your exhale breath. Soften your mind to those deep releases and see if you can perceive the feeling of flexion in your right hip flexors softening, knee releasing towards the chest. Take 2 more breaths and let your attention move in and out of that kind of polarized sensation, long through the left side and flexed through the right side. Good. From here, take your left hand to your right leg and use it to gently guide that right leg over the left to twist. You can place your right hand on your ribs or drape your arm out to the side. Just a little morning twist here. No pushing or cranking, just so that you're keeping the corners of your low back harmonious and healthy. This should just feel like a nice release. Doesn't have to be too deep. And then coming back to the center again, draw your right knee in one more time. Give it a little hug. And then join left knee with right knee. Take a deep inhale. As you exhale, Uttanasana, forehead towards the knees. So a deeply contracted, squeezing in sensation. Relax around your face and shoulders. And pin your belly button towards your spine to accentuate the toning those muscles that help you lift and curl in here. One more deep breath. And then release, send both heels up again. Soften your face. This time, point your toes. Continue to support your legs here and continue to pin your belly button towards your spine. You're just starting to wake up those deep abdominal muscles as you warm up. Take 2 more breaths, pointing the toes. As you point your big toes upwards, squeeze your upper inner thighs towards each other. Notice how that might change a feeling of lengthening through the legs as you point the toes. One more full breath. Feel a good stretch into the tops of the ankles, the tops of the feet. And then release. Draw your left knee in, send your right heel forward, and follow that same pattern of exploration here. So start with your right leg. Press that right heel forward actively, but not forcefully. So what would that look like in your own body, in your own kind of personality behind the pose? Active, intentional, but not forceful or rigid. And as you do that, do you feel, can you breathe into the length that you're experiencing through the right hip flexors, down the top of the thigh? And then counter your attention to the flexion in your left hip. So as you exhale, follow that exhale, recognize your body's response to that deep emptying. And do you feel that left thigh squeezing in gently towards your body a little bit more as a result of the subtlety in those exhales? 2 more breaths to explore on your own so that you're really creating your own practice, right? I'm cueing and guiding, but really this is about your experience, your interpretations. 1 more full breath. And then releasing for your twist, right hand is going to guide your left knee across your leg. Left arm coming out to the side, so you're either just draping your arm straight or bending the elbow, just making sure that you're not feeling like you're cranking around your neck, that left shoulder. One more good deep breath here. Fill up and let yourself be empty. And then coming back to rise. Both knees in, center the hips. Take a breath to neutralize and recenter. And then roll over to your side. You could take an extra breath there. Let your transitions be real and thoughtful. As you're ready, come all the way up and find Sukhasana, ankles crossed. Sit up onto a pillow or a blanket if you need a little bit of extra support. And once you find your Sukhasana pose, let your hands rest into your lap. Equalize the weight in your sits bones and lengthen through your spine. So intentionally creating your shape and then closing the eyes, let your attention move inward. And take a moment to notice where the attention wants to move, what you're perceiving. And if your perceptions begin to get so entwined with thoughts, see if you can come back to the feeling of your breath so that your senses can be engaged in the physical shape and the space around you. Take 1 more full breath. And as you're ready, gently blink your eyes open. Take a deep inhale, reach your arms out and up. So adding movement here as you exhale, let your arms float down to your sides. 2 more just like that. Inhale, reach your arms up. Ground through your sits bones as your arms reach up. Exhale, release. So everything else is pretty quiet and still. Just the arms and the shoulders. Inhale, reach up. And exhale, let that go. Good. This time, take a deep inhale, reach your arms up, lengthen through your sides and spine. And on your exhale, twist to the right. So adding on a seated twist here. I'm going to work on the back body a bit today. So we're just going to warm up with a few more twists. Right away, notice if you're wanting to kind of push your body into the shape. Right? Finding that same essence of intentionality, actively inhabiting the pose without pushing too far against force, rigidity. Let's leave space for the breath. Let's leave space for the mind to remain calm. And usually the body will follow. Take 1 more full breath there. So each breath is like a progression to deepen into that relaxed state of mind. Let the body follow that space. And then inhale, come back to center. Look up if that feels good. Follow what feels intuitively good to you as well. Exhale, twist to the left. Notice if you've kind of slumped or rounded in your upper back. You want to involve your thoracic spine here. Think about pressing your sitting bones down and against that foundation of support. See if you can find a little more space through your upper back, back of the neck, crown of the head. One more breath. And inhale, come back to center, reach up, look up if that feels good. And exhale, take a fold, hands down. Start shallow in your poses. There's no rush. When you start shallow, you give yourself an opportunity to find foundation. Deep breath, relaxed state of mind. And then let each breath carry you a little bit further if that's happening, right? It doesn't have to happen. One more breath here in the center. And then walk your hands over to the left. Just enough that you get a little stretch, length into the right side. If you turn your right ribs towards your left inner thigh, you might feel a good little decompression around the corner of your low back. And then walk on back to center and over to the other side. And then come back to the center and take a breath in the middle. And walk your hands all the way back up. As you lengthen your spine, scoop your shoulders up. Create a little bit of tension. And then slowly release them back and down. Good. Let's come up into tabletop. If you need to straighten out through the legs and shake them out a bit, take your time. As you find your way to your tabletop all fours, spread out your fingers. And then distribute your weight evenly. Find your foundation. So weight distribution helps to create that nice neutral foundation for your joints to be supported. Lift your abdominal wall up. Lengthen the sides of the neck. And now moving on the breath. Inhale, release the belly and lift the chest. Look up if that feels good. Find your cow stretch. As you exhale, draw your navel towards your low back, round between the shoulders. Find your cat stretch. Inhale back to center to undulate the spine, open the chest. Exhale to round in. Let's do one more. Inhale, feel the ripple through the spine. Exhale, round and flex the spine. Inhale, come back to your neutral spine. Bring the tops of your feet to the floor. Open your knees out, find a little V shape there, and send your hips back towards your heels. Child's pose, Shavasana. You can have your elbows down on your yoga mat. If you want to be a little bit more activated, engage your triceps, straighten the elbows. You might feel them lift away from the floor a little bit. Wrap your outer armpits down if you're taking that more active child's pose. Feel the shape with your breath. Take 2 more full breaths. Focus on your exhalation. Focus on your body's response to the exhale. One more deep breath, and then more subtle, notice your mind's response to your exhale. Linking body and mind through breath. Come back here anytime throughout the practice. Inhale, rise up, find your tabletop position. Center your knees below your hips. Spread out your fingers, curl your toes, and send your hips back downward facing dog. As you take stronger or more dynamic asanas, notice if your mind starts to get a little frantic. Come back to those deep exhales. And if you cannot, modify ease up a little bit. Give yourself space so that the mind can register that all is well. Take a few more breaths here, adding movement anywhere that feels good. And let's move on the breath. As you inhale, release your knees. Exhale, press back to your child's pose. 2 more like this. Inhale, forward. Exhale, press up and back, down, down. Inhale, release the knee. Exhale, child's pose, Balasana. Inhale to rise. Exhale, downward dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Inhale, release the knee. As you exhale, press back, child's pose. Walk both hands over to the left. Let your right sits bones become a little bit heavier towards your heel, if that's accessible. Come back to center. Walk your hands over to the right. Breathe into your side body, the space where you perceive length and expansion. Come back to the center, a full breath, neutral. Then inhale, come on up into your tabletop, curl your toes. Exhale, downward facing dog. Press to your index finger knuckles. Squeeze your forearms towards each other, bending in the knees as much as you need to so that you can really perceive length through your sides and spine. Hips are the highest point of the body. 1 more deep breath. Look forward, bend your knees, and walk your way to the top of your mat. As many steps as you need, no rush. Take your feet hips distance apart. Bring your hands to your ankles or your shins. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana, lifting halfway. Make a flat back here as best you can. Knees can be bent if you need to do that to facilitate your flat back. Work your shoulder blades down your back, lengthen your neck, and lift your abdominal wall up. See if you can deepen your hip crease just a little bit there, lengthening through the hamstrings. Exhale, fold. Now just one on the breath. Inhale, half lift, same actions. Exhale, fold. Grab onto alternate elbows. Spread out your toes. If you notice any stressful responses in the body or the mind, come back to your exhales. Ease out where you need to find a space where all feels well. Even if there's intensity or strong feelings, there's a space somewhere within all of that where we can register and perceive that all is well. Take 1 more full breath. Release your hands down, bend your knees, tuck your chin. Think about the feeling in your cat stretch as you roll up to standing. Try to recreate that flexion through the spine as you roll up vertebra by vertebra here. And as you lift, bring the crown of your head up, your plumb line, crown of the head, down through the shoulder blades, all the way down your back to your hips. Ground through the feet and take 2 breaths into Tadasana. So wrapping your muscles around the bones to feel engaged and strong. And then just focus your mind. Let your mind be gentle on your deep exhales. 1 more full breath. Feeling your balance, your stability. All is well within that strength. Release that. Join your hands to heart center. Bring your toes to the top of your yoga mat. Take a full breath in Samastitihi. Let your palms melt and spread into each other. Lengthen the spine. And now moving on the breath. Slow and steady. Inhale. Reach your arms out and up. So the same exploration comes through movement. Exhale, open your arms, take a big dive forward. Bend knees as much as you need. Inhale, half lift, complete that shape. Bend your knees as much as you need. Exhale, fold forward. Step your left foot back. Lower your knee. Cushion that left knee if you want a little bit of added support. As you're ready, climb up onto your right thigh. And then pausing there, ground into your feet. Set your eyes so that they're assisting you with balance as they find their focal point. And then let your arms be empty as you reach up and overhead. One more breath in Anjaneyasana. Good. Feel the solid ground beneath you so that you feel supported to release as slowly as you can. And we'll twist right hand to thigh. Open the right corner of your chest towards the ceiling. Look up if that feels okay. Breathing. All feels good. Right arm up. Focus on the exhale. See if you can perceive the quality of your internal experience as you breathe out. And if all feels good, last two breaths, left knee up. Release your right hand down. Release your left knee down if it was lifted and step back into tabletop position. Bring your shoulders over your wrists, gaze forward, lift your abdominal wall up. Inhale, right heel back. Moving on the breath. Exhale, knee to nose, chin to chest. Think about a cat stretch here. Two more. Inhale, right heel back. Exhale, knee to nose, chin to chest. Inhale, right heel back. Exhale, draw in. As you inhale, send that right heel back. Shift your weight into your right hand. Lift your belly button towards your spine, left arm up. Pausing for 3. Focus on the exhale. 2. And 1. Gently release and come back into your tabletop. Step your left hand forward. Inhale, reach your right arm up. Threading the needle as you exhale. Take that right arm under the left. First, make sure that your neck feels safe and supported. And then maybe that left arm straightens forward. If you want to wrap your left arm around your back, you can. You're letting your decisions about your shape be informed by the internal experience of harmonious sensation. Right? The breath can flow, the mind feels steady. One more breath in your thread the needle. And then as you're ready, use your left hand to support yourself. Inhale, rise, bring your right arm up, take an open twist, countering. And release. Find your tabletop and set yourself up. Spread your fingers nice and wide. Curl your toes. Take an inhale. On your exhale, press back. Downward facing dog. Take a breath to recalibrate. Inhale, forward plank pose. Holding for 2. Knees can come down to modify as you need. One more breath. Lift your abdominal wall up. Engage your legs. And release. Bring your knees down if they're not already. Come all the way down to the belly. Take your hands out, maybe just like 6 inches, and tend to your fingertips so your palms are off of the floor. Bring the tops of your feet down. Press the tops of your feet into the floor. Feel the strength of your legs. Draw your navel away from the floor. Roll your shoulder heads back and squeeze your shoulder blades in. Then lift the chest, modified Cobra pose. 2 breaths here. Don't lose the strength in the legs. Deepen on your exhale. So even as you work and activate the back body, see if you can find that perceptibility of that all is well as you work. One more deep breath. Draw the shoulder blades in. Remember, using that as the blueprint for your Cobra pose. Slide your hands in to frame your chest. Take one more breath. And release. Bring your chin down, curl your toes, press up through tabletop, and back into down dog. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Look forward, bend your knees, and step all the way up to your thumbs. Each step part of your transition, part of your practice. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana, so that half lift, flat back. Exhale. Let your torso and head cascade over the thighs. Give your head a little nod, yes and no. Good. As you inhale, press down into your feet, rise up to stand. Reach up. Look up if that feels good. Exhale, come back to center. Take a breath. Let that go. New side. Inhale, arms up. Moving the breath. Exhale, dive forward to fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Step your right foot back, lower your knee. As you're ready, climb up onto that left thigh. Take a breath to settle, to feel stability. When the mind feels calm, steady on the breath, arms overhead. 3 breaths, Anjaneyasana. Think about lifting the weight of your torso off of the hips. See if that creates a little more length through your right hip flexors in front of the thigh. One more breath. Calm as you move through change and transition. Hands down. Left hand to your thigh. Making changes, staying steady on the breath so that you can establish those changes with awareness. As you twist to the left corner of the chest open. Check in. If all feels good, left arm up. Check in again. If all feels good, make your change. Adding that lifted right knee. One more breath. Release right knee if it lifted. Left hand comes down. Step back into your tabletop position. Take a moment to release your wrists if you need to. There's a lot of weight bearing there. Bring your shoulders back over the wrists. Inhale, left heel back. Moving on the breath, exhale, knee to nose, chin to chest. Press the floor away from you with your hand. Inhale, left heel back. Exhale, curl in. Inhale, send that left heel back. Feel the length. And now polarize that. Exhale, contract, navel to spine. Draw that knee in close. As you inhale, send that left heel back. Right arm forward for 3. Eyes steady to assist balance. 2. And 1, release. Threading the needle, right arm forward this time. Inhale, left arm up. Exhale, bring that left arm under the right. Make sure your neck is supported first. And then maybe right arm forward, maybe wrapping. Not making changes abruptly, right? Letting the progression, letting the transition occur based on your awareness of what's happening internally. Quality of the breath, quality of the mind. As you feel the integration and harmony there, then the external circumstances begin to shift and change. One more deep breath here. Use your right hand, support yourself. Bring that left arm up to open. And release. Come on down. Find your tabletop. Spread out your fingers, curl your toes. Downward facing dog. Take a full breath in your downward facing dog. Inhale forward to plank, holding here 5 breaths. 5. Feeling stability, feeling the power of your body. Can you remain calm internally? Knees down if you need, still building strength there. 2. And 1. Gently release the knees, come all the way to the belly. And then crawl your forearms forward. We'll come into Sphinx Pose. Make sure that your forearms are parallel and shoulder distance apart. Spread your fingers. And just like in your Cobra pose, engage your legs. Kneecaps lift away from the floor as your inner thighs roll up towards the ceiling. Breathing deeply here on your inhales. Draw the floor towards you with your forearms. Notice how that recruits muscles on your back body to lift your sternum forward and up. 2 more breaths to feel into that experience. No push or force. 1 more breath. Long and strong through the legs. Releasing your chin down, slide your hands back to frame your chest. A breath in your Cobra pose. Hands light, back body strong. Curl your toes, press up through your tabletop, downward facing dog. As you inhale, look forward, bend your knees. Exhale, travel to the top of your mat. Feet hips distance apart. Inhale, half lift, chest up. Find that Ardha Uttanasana spine. Exhale to fold. Take your left hand just underneath your chin. Bend your left knee deeply. Right leg can stay straight or a little bend in the knee, no big deal there. But really anchor to all 4 corners of the right foot. Draw your sternum forward and then reach your right arm up. If that's too much, right hand to hip. For 3, focus on your exhales, not pushing and cranking your body. 2. And release. Right hand down where the left is, bend your right knee. Anchor into all 4 corners of your left foot. Big lift through that left arm if you're lifting, otherwise hand stays on the hip. For 3. 2. See if you can allow the breath to carve space in the body. See if you can allow your exhale to create a soft space for the mind. 1 more breath. And release. From here, sway the hips a few times, giving your body a little out. Give your head a nod a couple of times. And then as you're ready, bend your knees and roll up to stand again. Take your time as you travel to stand. Roll your shoulders back and down. Good. Finding Tadasana. Take a full breath in mountain pose. Shifting to balance. Bring your hands to your hips. Shift your weight into your left foot. And then just come up onto your right toes for a moment. So as you get a little lighter into that right foot, I want you to think about pressing the floor away from you with your left foot, almost like your whole pelvis is going to lift up in space. You feel your abdominal muscles turn on a little bit. You can stay or lift your right toes off of the floor. Now, as you lift those right toes, notice if that left leg started to collapse. Press the floor away from you again. So feeling that polarizing action long through that left leg. Take one more breath where you are. And then release, coming back down through the center. You can shake that out. Moving to the other side, spread your right toes. And then just get light into your left foot for a moment so that you can focus on those subtle movements through the right side of the body, your supporting side. See if you can press the floor away from you with that right foot, whole pelvis lifts, abdominal muscles turn on, and keeping that length. You might even feel some length into the hip flexors there. Then lift the left toes to add on. And as those left toes lift, notice if that right leg wants to collapse. Use the solid ground, use the breath. One more here. And release. Left foot joins the right. Shake that out. And then taking your feet about hips distance apart, let your arms mount to your sides. Take a breath. Feel neutral space again. As you inhale, reach both arms up and overhead. As you exhale, take your left hand down and reach your right arm over your ear. Ground to the outer edge of your right foot. Rotate your chest up. Breathe down through your right side body. Liberate the breath around sensation. Inhale, come on up to center. You can look up if that feels good. And exhale, take that over to the other side. Inhale to rise, both sides long. Exhale, draw your hands through center. Take a full breath in and a deep breath out. Good, bringing your hands to your hips. Take a big wide stance now. Take a wide-legged forward fold, just getting into the hips and hamstrings a little bit more. Outer edges of the feet parallel. As you inhale, lift your chest. As you exhale, fold forward. One more time. Inhale, come halfway up, just like Ardha Uttanasana. And then thinking about your thoracic spine, middle and upper back staying spacious and long. Fold forward. What's happening now on the exhale? One more breath. Inhale, come halfway up, bend your knees, feel the strength of your legs. Exhale, hands to hips. Inhale, come all the way to stand. Turn your right toes forward. We'll move into Virabhadrasana 2. Keep your hands on your hips, bend your right knee. As you bend your right knee, work your right outer hip towards your midline and your right knee back towards your pinky toe. Press to the outer edge of your left foot so you feel the length and strength through the back leg. And then shoulders stay over the hips as your arms reach out. Gaze over your right hand and soften your eye gaze for 3 breaths. Shine your breath out in all directions here. 1 more breath. Nothing changes. Everything stays quiet. Just flip your right palm, take your left hand down, and arc your body out to the left. As you find your reverse warrior, accentuate the length through your right side body, all the way down into that front corner of your right hip. Good. Inhale back to center. Bring your hands to your hips, straighten your right knee, and turn those toes forward. Lift your chest, take a full breath in, and then exhale, fold forward again. Adding a twist. Inhale, half lift. Bring your left hand just below your chin. Tent your fingertips as you need. You don't have to palm the floor. Knees can be bent and you'll still get a great twist. As you're ready, open your right arm up. Right hand can just be on the hip or maybe even the low back here. And don't worry about straining to square the hips. Let this be about your spine receiving the twist. One more breath. And release. Right hand's gonna replace the left. Left arm's gonna spiral up. Or hand to hip or low back. Notice what happens when you start to feel your body resist or you find your edge. Do you lose the harmonious relationship between your breath and your mind? How might you start to allow that to subside? How might you start to attend to that relationship again? And then how does your body respond physically? Release. Just sway the hips here. Bend into alternate knees. You might arc through the side bodies. Release the head in some circles or side movement. And then slowly come to center, find a still point. Inhale, half lift, hands to hips. Come all the way to stand. Turn your left toes forward. Prepping for your warrior 2. Bend into that left knee and pause. Anchor to the outer edge of your right foot so much that you feel length into your right hip flexors and quads. And then work your left outer hip towards the midline. So you're tracking sits bones with heel. Left knee hugs towards your second or third toe. Then building on, adding the arms. Gaze over the left hand. Radiate the breath out in all directions. One more Virabhadrasana 2. And keep everything else quiet. Turning the left palm up. Bring your right hand down. Arc your upper body to the right. Continue to press to the outer edge of your right foot. Good. Inhale, come to center. And exhale, release the hands, straighten that left knee, turn your toes forward. And then you can heel toe your feet in or step yourself to the center of the mat. And just pedal out the legs and the feet. Rinse your hips a little bit. And then take your feet just a little wider than the hips. Bend the knees. Let yourself be kind of buoyant and loose in the joints. And just start to sway and kind of wash those poses away now. letting the body imprint and absorb the benefit. And then as you're ready, come back to still. And make your way to the top of your mat. So standing at the top of the mat, coming into Samasthiti again, hands to heart center. Grounding through the feet. As you ground through your feet, feel length course up your body from that earth support. Length through the legs, the back, crown of the head, and let all of the skin across your palms melt into each other. Take a full breath in. Let your mind ride on the exhale as you breathe out. Moving on the breath, inhale, reach your arms up. Look up if that feels good. Root down as you lengthen through the body. Exhale, big dive forward, fold in. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. From here, bend the knees. Step back into plank pose. Take a full breath. No urgency. Release your knees and come all the way down to the belly. Bring your forehead to the floor. Slide your arms back, palms up. We're just going to do one Shavasana, one locust pose here. Exhale, empty out the lungs. As you inhale, lift your feet, lift your legs, lift your chest, lift your head. Draw the shoulders back, see if you can feel those back muscles opening the chest. And then float your hands and reach your fingertips towards your toe tips. For 3, lift everything up a little higher if you feel space. 2, can you stay calm as you exhale even here? 1 more breath. And release. Come into Crocodile Pose. So make a pillow with your forearms. Bring your forehead down. Take your feet a little wider than the hips. Turn your toes out, heels in. Let the weight of your whole body melt to the support beneath you. As you inhale, you could visualize all of the skin on your body. Inhaling, oxygenating. As you exhale, let your mind relax all the way down to the bottom, the empty space. 5 more here. 1. 2. Slow and steady for 3. Notice your heart rate slowing. 2. 1 more good deep breath. Let your mind follow the exhale all the way down to the bottom, empty space. And then as you're ready, don't move abruptly, transition slowly. Come on up. I'm just going to have you simply roll onto your backs here. So you're already on the ground. Make your way onto your backs and draw your knees in. Gently rock side to side, giving the low back a gentle massage along the floor here. And then come to the center. Lengthen the back of your neck, one hand to the top of each knee. And start to stir the hips. Draw some big circles on the ceiling with your knees. And then as you're ready, reverse the direction. And then slowly make your way back to a still point. Spiraling those circles until they get smaller and smaller to the center. Once you're there, take your hands behind the thighs and extend your heels out. Candlestick pose, gaze towards the toes. If you want to let your arms release down, you can. We're going to try to take this one in a relaxed fashion. So yes, you're working to have your legs up there and you're supporting your legs if you need some of that support. But try to find the place where you don't feel like you have to work super, super hard to be here. So that maybe even you close your eyes and you can feel or perceive the skin across your forehead smooth out. You feel some tension in the jaw melt away. Maybe your lips soften. Maybe you can feel your collarbones melting towards the shoulder. Maybe your scalp can relax. Take one more good deep breath in that space. And then release. Bring your legs down. Take your feet out a little wider than the hip. Take a breath and soften the belly. Goal post your elbows and begin to windshield wiper your knees side to side. Take your time. A good flush for the hips. Twist, little release in the low back. Linger anywhere in the movement that feels especially good. One more on each side, making sure that you've moved evenly right and left. And then come back to center. Take your right ankle over your left thigh. You can stay right here and get a great stretch. If something is stirring within you to deepen, right arm through the hook of your right leg to hold the back or front of your left leg. If it feels like a strain, it's just an indication to look inward a bit more deeply towards subtlety, towards the link between your exhale and a calm space within your mind. Take another breath where you are. Keep your leg shape, but release your hands. Bring your left foot to the floor, and then let your legs come over to the left so that the sole of your right foot comes all the way down to the floor. Right arm can extend overhead. Breathe into your right lung, muscles between the right ribs. Couple more breaths to explore the effect of action. You can gently press that right knee away from you to accentuate the release in your right hip flexors if it feels good and right. And coming back to center, right foot joins the left. Take a breath to notice effective action within stillness. When you feel neutral, take your left ankle over your right thigh and stay. As you feel into the harmonious space that your breath and your mind create together, maybe you feel a stirring to explore action within that space. Left arm can hook through the left leg. So it takes a subtle eye to feel that really fine moment when we start to shift away from the harmonious space within. Breathing, paying attention. And then as you're ready, bring your right foot down and switch sides. Arms release. The sole of your left foot comes all the way down. Sometimes we think that one side is going to feel exactly like the other. We develop expectations around that. You can let that go. Explore what's right there through the breath. Sense of nurturing, compassion, beautiful body that you have, perfectly placed in your practice right where you are. And then as you're ready, come on up to center. Left foot joins the right. A moment to find some stillness. Within the stillness, you may notice some effect, sensation, experience arising. Any last stretches or movements are welcome before moving into Shavasana. When you're ready, bring your legs down. Your arms rest by your sides, palms facing up. Take one more slow, steady breath in. All the skin on your body, breathing in, oxygenating. One more deep breath out, mind following to that deep space of stillness, empty space. And then let your natural breath return. Nothing to do. Sense your whole body soft, effortless in space. Sense a softening in the mind within that stillness. Attention resting deeply on your own inner vibrancy. Rest easy in Shavasana. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahana Punaktu Saha Vidyam Karavavahai Tejasvanavaditamastu Mavirvishavahai Om. May our practice be carried together and separately in protection and light, and be carried forward. As you're ready, take a few deeper breaths. If you're feeling really good in your own space, you can stay. You don't have to get up. And if you're coming back up, start with some gentle movements. This is not to disrupt the space of rest and harmony you may have created for yourself. Put your arms overhead, get a stretch. And as you're ready, draw your knees in. Roll over to your right side so that you can take a few breaths feeling really supported, grounded there. And when you're ready, making your way up to a comfortable seat. As you find your final seat, your closing posture, let your eyes close down one more time before moving out to the more external material world, keeping your attention inside of your practice just for another moment so that you can find some space for gratitude to arise, some space for introspection, reflection on changes as a result of your practice. And as you're ready, joining your hands together, all here together in that space of gratitude, of practice, of sharing. And thank you all so much for being here and allowing me to be of service, to guide. Namaste.
Namaste.